Senator Padilla, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, let's be clear, because as much as we've said it, as much as the country has seen it, there's some people who would like to forget that 5 years ago, insurrectionists stormed the Capitol in an unprecedented attempt to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. They instigated and fueled a coordinated campaign of lies by President Trump to overturn the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. We all watched the violent attack on the Capitol, and President Trump and his allies are attempting to whitewash history and say that the rioters were nothing but, quote, peaceful protesters. Mr. Schwager, you were on the Senate floor during the January 6th attack.
Yes, Senator.
Can you describe what you witnessed that day as, would you describe what you witnessed that day as actions of, quote, peaceful protesters?
No, Senator.
Now, after the Capitol was breached, were you concerned for your safety and the safety of other Senate employees?
I was, Senator.
And how would you describe the response by the U.S. Capitol Police?
Heroic, courageous, overwhelmed, but I'm just extremely grateful for their sacrifice and their service.
Thankfully, and thankfully at the time and in the aftermath of that January 6th insurrection, there was still a willingness by the Senate as a body on a bipartisan basis to recognize that heroism, that bravery, and to permanently honor, among other ways, via a plaque that should have been installed a long time ago in the U.S. Senate. So real history is real history, truth is truth. Mr. Romano, in your prior role, you supervised the prosecution of hundreds of crimes committed during the January 6th attack on the Capitol, including individuals who violently assaulted law enforcement. Based on that experience, would you describe the mob that descended on the Capitol on January 6th as, quote, peaceful?
I would not. There were hundreds of crimes of violence committed by that mob.
Right. Many which were tried and many that led to convictions.
Yes, almost every single case that we presented led to a conviction.
Now, based on the hundreds of January 6th related prosecutions that you oversaw and the vast amount of evidence that you reviewed, did the January 6th rioters understand that the purpose in attacking the Capitol was to prevent the certification of the 2020 election through violence?
Yes, many did understand that. Certainly many, in fact, the overwhelming number understood that the purpose was to stop the certification. People discussed that openly through phone records and social media records, which we obtained.
Thank you. It's amazing how more than 5 years later, despite the evidence, despite the videos, despite not just the prosecutions, but convictions and sadly pardons, we still have to work hard to set the record straight and make sure history is accurate. And my time remaining, I do want to talk about the sensitivity of data that's been discussed here. Last week, Congress repealed the provision that allowed for potential massive payouts to senators whose phone records are subject to a federal investigation. Those financial rewards should never have become law in the first place. But we need to make sure that Senate data and the legislative branch is protected against the Trump administration's ongoing weaponization of the executive branch against its political enemies. Question for Mr. Miller, Mr. Nelson, and Mr. McAfee. Do you agree that senators own their own data and that under federal statute and your contracts with the Senate that you are required to notify senators of efforts to access their official data? Mr. Miller.
I do agree that senators have control of their data pursuant to Section 6628, Senator, and we have implemented procedures to address that.
Okay, Mr. Nelson?
The same for T-Mobile.
And Mr. McAfee?
Senator, you are our customer. We protect your data. The section you're referring to, 6628, relates to those Senate accounts through the Senate Sergeant at Arms, but rest assured, we protect your data as our customer.
Okay, and I do believe prior to my questioning, there's been a commitment on behalf of AT&T and Verizon to continue the work and strengthening of contracts with the Sergeant at Arms. But I want to make sure I afford T-Mobile the same opportunity for abundant clarity on that commitment.
Yes, we're following the same approach as both of the others.
Same contract language, same protocols.
Yes,
As
we're
your,
working on for Senate official lines for sure, and we're working on a process for personal lines, campaign lines, so that those can be people can be provided notice where the law allows.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you very